Good morning, everybody. All right, today we're going to talk about attitude. I think situations that come up in our lives sometimes give us a little bit of pause, right? And I'm amazed at how many adults, how many people don't take responsibility for their own attitude. It's about the government, it's about my ex, it's about my mom, it's about my dad. But today, as a friendly reminder and a suggestion, is that you can make your attitude, you can build your attitude, you can change your attitude, you can become someone who has an attitude of growth and an attitude of gratitude as you look at your life. When I lost my sight in 2003, that was a long time ago. It took me about 3 years to recover and to figure out, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do? And it was tough. And one of the things that my father had always told me was that he said, look, Jose, never blame your attitude on someone else's attitude. Never blame your situation on someone else. Take responsibility for your life and show others that you can do that. And like I always do, I'm going to recommend a book that may help a little bit with this. It's called The 4 Agreements. And in the 4 agreements, they talk about the agreement of, hey, you know what? Somebody says something and you keep it and take it for yourself. And there's a lot of concepts. There are a lot of concepts in there that we can use to learn. An educational system like what we have in our schools doesn't teach us how to have a great attitude. An educational system teaches us how to be great employees and how to follow rules. Because have you noticed that way from the beginning, you got bells, you got breaks, you got, the school system, the educational system begins to form you and form us in a way that generates people that are more willing to follow rules than willing to make their own way. And that's a kind of like a fear factor, is that, am I going to be punished for what I'm going to do today? Am I going to be punished for saying what I said today? Am I going to be punished for my behavior? And I think that sometimes we have to take the opportunity to just say, hey, you know what? Maybe the educational system has not been the best for me. Maybe I need to make a change and start changing my attitude. And because I always say, you know what? Your mind is really not fixed, right? I always talk about not being a rock, right? We're not a rock. Even rocks can change. But you can change your attitude anytime you want. It's tough, right? You can change your perspective anytime you want. It's tough because all the habits that we have built up until now will prevent us from doing some of those things. So what are you going to do today to change your attitude so that you can begin to be a magnet for people who you're working with? So that when you build your business, that people can flock to you and say, I want to be with that person. So that when you're out there and people see you smiling, they want to ask you, why are you smiling so much? And I'm going to tell a little story before I go here. I was on a bus one time in Miami, and I got on the bus with my guide dog, Sam, and I sat down in the front. And a gentleman sat next to me and said, why are you smiling so much? And I said, because I'm glad to be alive. And then he said, well, don't you realize what's going on around you? I said, yes, indeed I do. I'm sitting next to a gentleman that God put next to me so that I can have a conversation with him. That's you, sir. And if I could bring a smile to you or to anybody else on this bus today, I've made my purpose. And he said, I've never met anybody like you. I said, look, if you've never met anybody like me, you will. From now on today, you're going to probably start paying attention more and looking at people in a different way. And he says, but don't you think life is tough? I said, yeah, life is tough. But don't we make it tougher by being upset and having a bad attitude? So why not have a good attitude anyway? And he said, I never thought about that. I said, I know, I didn't either in the beginning. But little by little, I started learning myself how to change my attitude about things, because there's no sense in making it worse by having a bad attitude. So today, you know what? He says, wow, that's amazing. And I said, it's not a secret. And it's not something that took me a long time, and I'm still struggling with it. But I want to keep a smile in my face so that everybody knows that I'm happy regardless. That attitude is what reflects what you're feeling inside. Your attitude is your best tool for life. So have a great day, everybody.